DG, Mr. Madia. And then lastly, we've got the Executive for Road Traffic Information and Technology, Mr. Kevin Caravala. So how we're going to proceed today is that we're going to have a presentation that will talk to the status and the update on the driving license card backlog and the machine. Then that will be followed by the address from the Minister. And lastly, we're just going to have a video showing the images from the DLCA. Thereafter, we're going to have a question and answer session. We'll manage it as we receive the questions and the comments. Thereafter, we'll wrap up the session. Hopefully, you do then have an idea as to what's going to transpire today. So then, without any further ado, I would like then the presentation by Mr. Kevin Caravala to be flighted, and he's going to come on the podium just to provide that technical information and the progress so far. Mr. Caravala.
Good morning, Honourable Minister. Good morning, members of the media and the public here. So the presentation will revolve around five issues, basically the background, breakdown of the production machine, our current status and the production backlog. The current driving license card was implemented in 1998. And the current machine has been in operation since then. The production function was outsourced to a private company from 1998 up until 2015. In 2015, the Department of Transport, through the trading entity, the DLCA, took over operations of the car production facility, and they inherited the infrastructure as it currently is at that center. On the 7th of November 2021, the production machine broke down as a result of an electrical surge caused by flooding in an adjacent building. This led to the production team doing some troubleshooting together with the original equipment manufacturer. Through this process, we were able to isolate that there was a single component that had actually suffered some damage during the surge. The component was dispatched for repairs to the OEM in December 2021. In early January, on the 17th of January, the part was returned. It was fixed and was installed. There was some testing and configuration done on the machine. And since then, the machine has been operating from the 20th of January 2022. As at the 1st of February, 128,436 cards were manufactured in the period that production had resumed. Our current backlog of cards that need to be produced is sitting at 597,492. So just a breakdown of the cards that have been produced. The majority of these cards were for Gauteng, 66,000 of them. As being, the province with the highest population of drivers. The other provinces, Eastern Cape 71, Free State 12,000, KwaZulu-Natal nearly 19,000, Mpumalanga 14,000, Limpopo 7,500, Northwest 7,300, Northern Cape 1,100, and 18 cars in the Western Cape. As of the 1st of February, the backlog is broken down with Gauteng having the highest, 35%, KwaZulu-Natal at 16%, and Western Cape with 15%, and cumulatively they account for 66% of the backlog. So what have we implemented to address this? The production team is working day and night shift to cover the backlog. It is estimated that it will take about 3 to 4 months to address the current backlog. And we also note that from the 17th to the 31st of March, we will be doing our annual preventative maintenance during that period. So thereafter, we will then resume with normal production again. In terms of the backlog of driving license cards that need to be renewed, 2.8 million motorists were affected by the COVID extension. So their licenses expired between the 26th of March and 31st of August 2021. That expiry date was extended to the 31st of March. To date, 1,340,840 motorists have come forward to renew their licenses, and there's still an outstanding 1.4 million motorists that have to come forward to renew their licenses before the 31st of March. In addition to the 1.4 million drivers, there's also 630,000 drivers that still have to come forward to renew their licenses. And these are drivers whose licenses expired between the 1st of September and the end of March that were not affected by the backlog. So those are the ordinary renewals. So in total, we're still managing 2.1 million motorists that have to come forward by the end of March to renew their licenses. Just in terms of our forecast for the next 6 months, the figure for motorists that have to renew their licenses up until the 30th of September 2022 is at 2.9 million. So this includes the 2.1 million and a further 800,000 motorists that have to come forward to renew their licenses by the end of September 2022. So with those figures in mind, the estimated production capacity of the DLCA is 400,000 cards per month. So to clear the backlog of 2.1 million drivers affected, if they all come forward, it will take 4 to 6 months at the current production capacity. And we just note as well that in addition to the driving license extensions, there were the vehicle license extensions, but fortunately the backlog has been caught up. We are operating as business as usual in that space with vehicle licenses. And of course, we will touch on some of those issues going forward with the convenience services that will attend to that backlog. Thank you, Minister. That's the end of the presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Karavala. If I may check with the leadership in terms of the shade, can you bring the shade, or are you feel comfortable? Okay. All right. As I said, thank you, Mr. Karavala, for the presentation. The then Minister Mbalula is going to give us an address around this matter. Mr. Mbalula.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And what is your name again? Please come back.
Thank you, Tabiso, our program director, the CEO of RTMC, Mr. Makhosini Msibi, and the CFO of RTMC, Ms. Mulman, and Mr. Karavala from RTMC as well, who gave us a brief analysis of the operational issues and where we come from, and the technical issues in terms of the driver's license and the backlog in the provinces. The Acting Director General and all officials of the Department of Transport, RTMC, and the DLCA. We are here at Waterfall, standing here in front, which people behind me are making noise, very much so, which is fine. But if you look behind me, this is one of the centers here in Waterfall that provide a very important service. And we invite everybody to come here. It doesn't take you 30 minutes to get here. And I'll speak to that in my presentation. So we're standing here to give you an update on the situation of the driver's license so that you can ask questions. Where you do have questions, because the driver's license has been a very important topic in our ministry and in our sector. Our efforts to arrest the carnage on our roads and achieve our stated target of reducing fatalities by 25% in 2024 continue to find expression in our various interventions. Ensuring that drivers on our roads are competent is an important part of our arsenal in arresting the carnage. As we approach the end of the grace period for the renewal of driving licenses on the 31st of March 2022, we have paid particular attention to the challenges experienced by drivers in this regard. The previous extensions of the validity period were meant to address the challenges brought about by COVID-19 restrictions. In giving context to the rationale as to why we continue to use equipment that was procured in 1998, I've heard people said that this equipment was procured in 1932 in Germany, and then others said it was procured in 1990. Now here is a fact. It was procured in 1998 under the Nelson Mandela, President Thabo Mbeki administration, and the minister then, if I'm not mistaken, was Mac Maharaj. Right. The DLCA people who have been here since then agree with me. Gobamina, I'm the new guy. The printing of driving licenses was outsourced to a private company which was responsible for the procurement of the production machine. Software and the operation of the card production facility. In November 2021, we experienced a breakdown of the equipment used in the production of the driving license cards. This breakdown occurred as a result of a power surge caused by flooding from the adjacent building. Our technicians at the DLCA, supported by RTMC, managed to isolate the problematic component in the machine. Efforts were made to repair the faulty part locally without success. The affected component was flown out of the country to the original equipment manufacturer, OEM, for repairs. The repair process was hampered by the festive season closure on the side of the OEM and the international COVID-19 restrictions. In giving context to the rationale as to why we continue to use equipment that was procured in 1998, the printing of driving licenses was outsourced to a private company which was responsible for the procurement of the production machine, software, and the operation of the card production facility. Can you give me my speech? Take your computer with peace. Because I will never finish. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, about that. I was trying to be very intelligent, but the computer gave me problems. In giving context to the rationale as to why we continue to use equipment that was procured in 1998, the printing of driving licenses was outsourced to a private company which was responsible for the procurement of the production machine, software, and the operation of the card production facility. In May 2015, after a protracted legal battle, the driving license card account took over the card production facility. And I think for all of you who have been following the story of the driver's license, you will know about this legal battle that ensued between the RTMC and all those who were interested and who were involved. The driving license card account took over the card production facility, which included the equipment used in the production of the card, the live capture units at DLTCs, and personnel responsible for production of cards. The DLCA is a trading entity of the Department of Transport mandated to produce driving license cards. So the driver's license card is not produced by many companies. It's produced by DLCA, which is under the Department of Transport at National. And that DLCA get a feeder from DLTCs, where you come like here to renew your license and everything, and then it feeds for the production of driver's license cards. And that's where the machine and the production is actually happening for the driver's license cards. In a few weeks, the damaged component was fixed and production of driving license cards resumed on the 20th of January 2022. As on the 1st February 2022, the backlog of renewal applications awaiting cards stood at 500,974,492 in the 2 weeks since the production process resumed. The DLCA has produced 128,436 driving license cards. We are able, as we speak, day and night production taking place to produce 100,000 cards per week, which means we cover a distance of 400,000 a month through this through this machine. So the operations have resumed effectively from the date I've mentioned, 20th of January 2022. This was made possible by a recovery plan being implemented by the DLCA, where the production facility is operational 24 hours a day in shifts. And I'm told that since this machine or this operation was taken over by DLCA as a trading entity under the Department of Transport since 2015, the breaking of this machine only took, it happened 10 times. It was for the first time with this surge that it took so long. The recovery plan was implemented by DLCA, where the production facility is operational 24 hours a day in shifts. The card production is in full swing and work is underway to clear the backlog. The printing of the cards is done in a manner that prioritizes those who have been waiting in the longest period. We have satisfied ourselves between DLCA, the RTMC, with the support of the OEM, the original equipment manufacturers, who are supporting and maintaining the equipment production of the current card system we have sufficient technical capacity to maintain the equipment for the foreseeable future. Considering that the current backlog of 597,000 are waiting to be printed, we anticipate that it will take approximately 4 months to clear the backlog. The backlog of the cards currently in the system will be cleared by April 2022. We have conducted an assessment of the quantum of the backlog and evaluated the challenges motorists are experiencing in the process to renew their licenses. We have also considered other factors such as the impact of a further extension, as well as law enforcement capacity to ensure the rule of law prevails at all times. The total backlog of driving licenses that will have expired by the 31st of March 2022 that have not yet been renewed stand at 2.1 million nationwide. Of this number, those that fall within the COVID-19 extension account for 70%, and that is 1.5 million people. The breakdown per province of the total number of licenses not yet renewed is as follows. Gauteng, for the highest number of licenses not yet renewed, is at 744,710. This represents 35% of the national tally, which means Gauteng is the highest in terms of the backlog. It is followed by KwaZulu-Natal, which has 345,433 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 16.2% of the national tally. Western Cape is number 3 with 279,175 licenses not renewed. This represents 13.1% of the national tally. Limpopo is 4 at 197,166 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 9.3% of the national tally. Mpumalanga has 175,142 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 8.2% of the national tally. Eastern Cape has 155,598 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 7.53% of the national tally. Free State is 101,355 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 4.8% of the national tally. Northwest has 94,621 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 4.4% of the national tally. Lastly is the Northern Cape, 37,710 licenses not yet renewed. This represents 1.8% of the national tally. With the estimated production of 400 cards per month, the DLCA estimates that the 2.1 million backlog will be cleared by September 2022. Despite the interventions we have implemented when we announced the current grace period, we have noted, and I have noted with concern, that although the RTMC managed the driving license testing centers like the one that we are at, I'm referring to, we opened at Waterfall Park in Midrand and Eco Park in Centurion, operate also during weekends. The slots are severely underutilized. Currently, these two DLTCs only have a utilization rate of 35%. So I urge all the motorists to come here and renew their licenses. It is fast, it is quick, it is not boring. All those problematic people who are promoting corruption and all of that, I've smoked them out in this place. So you can come here, have peace. Like you can see, most of the motorists actually come here. To illustrate this point, only 53 motorists renewed licenses this past weekend from the available capacity of 150 motorists who can be assisted per day. We have put measures in place to give motorists a fair opportunity to renew their licenses. While we are rolling out a number of new measures to improve efficiencies and resolve challenges, we encourage all those whose licenses have expired to renew their licenses and not wait for the last minute. Our national road traffic regulations provide a temporary reprieve for motorists who have applied for renewal of their cards to continue using the expired card for a period not exceeding 3 months. Our national road traffic regulations provide a temporary reprieve for motorists who have applied for renewal of their cards to continue using the expired card for a period not exceeding 3 months. This is conditional to the motorist having in his or her possession both the expired driving license and the proof of renewal, and the application must have been made before the expiry of the card. Those whose cards expired before 26 March 2020 and 31st August 2021 are deemed to be valid until 31st March 2022. However, those whose licenses expired after 31st August 2021, they are required to apply for a temporary driving license as the grace period does not cover for them. We have previously indicated that we are in the process of introducing a new driving license card for South Africa. The new card will have advanced security features and meet international standards, which means it can also be used as an alternative form of identification. We are in the process of seeking cabinet approval for the design of the new card this year. This will then be followed by a procurement process that will enable us to pilot the card and introduce the new card in October 2023. Once we start issuing the new card, we will phase out the current card over a 5-year period, which should allow the current cards to expire. In looking at the various interventions to improve the driving license value chain, we are also looking at the validity period of the driving license card. The RTMC has appointed a panel of researchers to look into the matter. You know, OUTA has complained, not even complained, they've raised the issue and many others to say that why are you not extending the renewal to 10 years from 5 years? So RTMC, through RTMC, we have commissioned this study and research, and on the basis of that research, we will then make a determination, which will be a research that will compare also with other countries, but will also tell us whether the status quo of 5 years as it stands, is it not beneficial or is it counterproductive? And then should we arrive at the conclusion informed by the research, we will immediately spring into action. So that work has already begun. And Makosini, if you want questions around that research and all of that, the CEO of RTMC can adequately deal with that particular question. It is important for us, we don't take criticism as negative. We also draw wisdom from some of the critics who criticize us and all of that. So we don't just dismiss what OUTA is saying. So we apply our mind, we look at the research in terms of improving our driver's license regime. Maybe they've got a point, but we can't just spring into action without research and empirical evidence to ensure that indeed what they are saying is correct. So it is important for us to apply ourselves fully to what the RTMC have actually said. Thank you, Kevin. We'll continue to improve the experience of the motorist by rolling out a bouquet of services to make it more convenient to apply and renew driving licenses. We had started with the rollout of DLTCs operated by RTMC with state-of-the-art infrastructure in Centurion and Midrand. And we are going to be engaging with the provinces with regard to this to ensure that we roll out this service to all the provinces in order to catch up with the backlog. This will further be reinforced by the rollout of online services before the end of February. Particularly the date for this rollout, you will be invited, is the 17th of February 2022. It has already been gazetted. You can now apply for a driver's license if you believe in the high-tech and your high-tech savvy and all of that, to apply for driver's license in the zone of your comfort. And this will be rolled out on the 17th of February 2022. You will be informed about that. We are also considering, in engaging with the provinces, the issue of an incentive for the motorist, because some of the things that have actually happened, it is not of their fault. And once we have consulted with the provinces in relation to that, to those incentives, we should be in a position to come back and report to the nation in relation to that. Because the Department of Transport does not, is a concurrent function. So through the RTMC and other MECs in terms of the board, I've got to consult with all MECs to get their endorsement in terms of the set of investments that I want to introduce, particularly for the motorist in the coming period, especially when you go and renew your driver's licenses. Should we lag behind in terms of our capabilities that we have set in motion to address the backlog? We'll be engaging with provinces to explore further other incentives and innovations we'll be rolling out in due course. This include the rollout of DLTCs model in all provinces, the introduction of flexible operating hours of DLTCs, a possibility of exempting some categories of motorists from the amount payable for temporary driving license. Once we have finalized these consultations, in the next week or so, we will then make the necessary pronouncements in this regard. So we want to thank everybody for their patience and also for following our story. Our vision and our interest is to ensure that to acquire driver's license, which include renewal and all of that, is not a painful exercise. It should be as easy as any other thing in the Republic of South Africa. So that's where we are actually going. And the driver's license new card is definitely on the cards. And the submission is awaiting cabinet approval. And probably after the State of the Nation, that work will be done with. And then we will be in action to ensure that we implement the rollout of this new driver's license. I will then invite you to see the machine we are talking about. I've shown you the snippets of it on social media in my platforms, but other people said this machine is just a small thing. So for those who don't know the machine, you have seen it, I've shown you, but we'll play a video, I think, to show you the machine. And then they asked me, you said you'll take us to DLCA. I can't take you there, it's a national key point. There is nothing wrong about it, I can take you, but it's a national key point. So where your driver's licenses are produced and all of that, it's a well-protected space. So it's not just something that is happening anyhow, anywhere. So MPs, in terms of the portfolio committee and all of that, they are able to reach that point. But it is of interest to me to show you the machine, because the machine has been a big issue for many other people in and around the country. So this machine is old. We are among the fewer countries that still have this machine. All countries have sprung into action. They no longer produce the same licenses that we have. That is why we are moving forward with the new driver's license regime that we've got to implement. The implementation of a driver's license is not only a call by the Department of Transport. It involves security agencies. So from 2019, all sorts of comparison, security features of the new card, that mission is undertaken. Up until the state security in this country say yes, we cannot move. And then up until last year, that work has been completed. And now it is ready to serve before cabinet, and we sprung into action in terms of the new driver's license. But your driver's license that you possess now is one of the best in terms of the security features, but it will be inadequate in terms of using it as an identification, particularly if you go to the bank, because your driver's license, your name start only with initials, F.A. Mbalula. It doesn't say Fikile April Mbalula. So the one that is coming is going to take you out the way you are. But I can assure you, it's not a card that you can go around with all its features, manipulate it and all of that. It is not possible. It's tight like that. We have had these glitches. We're giving you an account. We said to you it will probably be around April that the machine will be fixed. I want to thank the staff at DLCA who worked around the clock to fix the parts and the components that they got from OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, and then also for them working hard to ensure that we're back in operation. Since 2015, 10 times this machine break down. It's like your car, you get to service the car from time to time, but there's got a period where it gets out of, and they are no longer the model of the car that you use. Some of the equipment is no longer available in the market. The same as this machine. We no longer have it. We are probably one of the last countries, about 13 in the world, that still have got this equipment. But our card fit in terms of the international global standards. So we're moving into a new system, and it's going to take us a period of about a year to phase it in. It takes time, but in the process, we'll be dealing with the backlog. So I'm saying to South Africans, renew your driver's licenses, go out. I am rolling out the same facilities you are seeing here at Waterfall throughout the country, working with the MECs, so that you acquire your status of a driver's license. Because after March, it's going to be difficult for you to drive on the road and still talk about grace period. It can only happen under extreme circumstances where in which it is beyond us that we can introduce another grace period. The grace period was an emergency. COVID-19 have delayed us in many fronts and so on, but now we have sprung into action. We are ready. Come to Waterfall, especially if you are around Gauteng, go to Centurion, and then in Gauteng we'll be rolling out in all other areas. And I will be going to those areas as and when we reopen for our story. And also when other MECs come to the party, we'll do the same. Should the incentives that I intend to introduce will be approved by the board of the RTMC, we will also make a proper announcements in that regard. Thank you very much for covering our story of the driver's license, and keep looking at us and keep us on our toes as we march on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister. As the Minister has said, we're going to have a 2-minute video showing the DLCA in its operations. While that is ongoing, I do note that there is a microphone that will be hovering around together with the sanitization wipes. So after the video has played, I think then we'll open up the question and answer session.
See South Africa, the machine is working, it's been repaired, and we're working on the new system in terms of the machine. Thank you to the staff of GMCA, the technical people here who are working here, and who are making it possible. I'll give further details to the about the machine and how it operates. But of course, the hard-working people here, South African patriotic workers, who have been working here, some of them since 1998. You can imagine. 1998, they've been working here. Long before I even come as a Minister of Transport. Thank you, I'm here now, and then I still find them here. They are grinding, they know these machines. So the machine that goes to the driver's license is not a small printer. I'm just giving them tips. We're back in operation, we're rolling, we're doing tasks. Thank you. This is our staff here. We're working, we're rolling, we're working very hard. Hallelujah.
That is it. Thank you very much to you all. As we go into the question and answer session, as I said, there is a roving microphone, a floating microphone with the sanitization wipes. We'll take 5 questions at a time. Please state your name, the media house you are working for, and then your question.
Hi, Minister, it's Masoko Rashaka from ENCA. We've got quite a few people who've been saying that are they expected to then pay twice, those who you've advised to get, for instance, to apply for the driver's license, but possibly also get that temporary one. Does that mean they have to pay for both? Can you just clarify that, please?
Thank you very much. That's the first question. Lutando, there is a second one this side.
Roy Cocaine from MoneyWeb. Mr. Minister, you mentioned that the machine broke down 10 times. There was an occasion in January 2020 when it broke down, and a person by the name of Mbalula of the DLCA was quoted by ENCA in an interview that you can still see on online, where he mentioned the machine was 20 years old and the department were issuing a tender to procure a new machine during the 2021 financial year. It's a bit historical, but are you able to tell us what actually happened to that tender process? And then just one other question, just on clarity. The 2 new driver's license test centres that actually have been opened at Waterfall and the Eco Park, are those operated by the RTMC? And with the rollout of further DLTCs using the same model, will they be RTMC DLTCs or will they be municipality run? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Still have space for 2 more questions before we provide a response to those. All right, if there are none.
Thank you, Minister. The first question pertains to the issue of the double payment in the event that you apply for the license or renew the license. The provisions of the National Road Traffic Act, in particular Section 108, subsection 6, says if you renew within the 3 months after the before the expiry, you then invoke the provision of Section 108, subsection 6, meaning that you need not apply for a temporary license. The slip that you have gone to renew suffices as a proof that you have renewed. However, if you have gone to renew when the license has expired, the provision of the National Road Traffic Act, Section 100, subsection 1, requires of you to then apply for a temporary license. And that process will then have to take a period of 6 months. So it's only when you go after the expiry of the time, meaning when you are in default. But if you do it within or prior to the expiry of the driver's license, you need not apply for a temporary license. However, there are those that will always love to have a temporary driver's license, which is an optional matter over and above the provision of Section 108, subsection 6 of the National Road Traffic Act. The Minister referred to the rollout of the process that is currently being rolled out at here in Waterfall and in RTMC Centurion. Will those be then rolled out by the RTMC, or will they be rolled by the municipality? It's a hybrid. If the province so feels that they will require the rollout done by themselves, the RTMC is going to train the staff to replicate the same module that we are replicating. However, if the province is of the view that they will appoint RTMC as an agent, that will then be rolled out by the RTMC. We should always remember that the competency of the National Road Traffic is both a concurrent function in terms of Schedule 4 and Schedule 5 of the Constitution. To that extent, it is the desire of the MEC and the Minister that will then sort the aside. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO.
One, I think I have mentioned that we are consulting with the provinces. We will be engaging with the different provinces as is required by the law for concurrence to get their approval. The DLCs that we have rolled out in Waterfall and Centurion, it's a practical example of the way to go. We will consult with the province and give evidence as to how effective this is. But in the meantime, I'm calling upon on all South Africans to get out and renew their driver's license and not wait for end of March. That is very important. Please repeat this. Driver's license renewal. Everywhere, wherever you are, go out and renew your driver's license. There are over-enthusiastic spokespersons who are not appointed by the department, who speak out of turn and talk about things they shouldn't be talking about. You cannot talk about procurement of any process before cabinet approves. I've never said that we're going to procurement. I've said that procurement can only kick in after cabinet approves. There is cabinet in this country. that meets fortnightly or every Wednesday, checked by the president. I cannot just stand here in front of you like it's a banana republic. Here, I've got a new card. Hey, give me the, let me see. No, it doesn't work like that. There is a process. And that process means that we have done all our work. We go through cabinet committees before we even go to cabinet. That process has been undertaken. We are now ready to go to cabinet anytime. Whenever the cabinet sits, our item on driver's license will be before cabinet. Once cabinet approves, then we move. And the first step will be the procurement. Remember, a potential person who wants to win this tender is out there. He doesn't know anything about it. It's only then after cabinet approval that the Department of Transport will then start the processes, procurement. Once that is done, you then have got a person who will do this. Then other processes that will follow is the piloting, whether the system works or not, what we have acquired, is it from Kong or is it working? And then you look at that, you pilot the process, and thereafter only in 2023, we will effectively, October, start the phase out, effectively, where you will go to, you will get new licenses. Then even the machines that we'll be using will be much faster, modern, and even better than what we have now. At the present moment, we have the capacity. It has been slowed down by the accident that happened, that we have worked around the clock is being repaired. It is 10 times since we take over as this department, the running of this machine. Before that, it was run by a private company, right? Now it's run directly by the department, trading company, under the DLCA, under the Department of Transport. That's where it is. So since then, we have had 10 breakdowns, and they are not major. This one was the first time that it took so long. The machine is like a car. You go for service from time to time. It will be going for service, this machine, now in February. Now, because we are transparent, we want to explain ourselves, and we don't want to be second-guessed. It was important for us to explain to you the machine that produces your cards. And what is the process, what happened. You can ask other questions and even disagree with me and all of that. Other people ask, since 1998, why the same machine all the time? The machines we produce are linked to the global environment and the new standards that are set in. So what South Africa is using here, you will go anywhere else, you will find that the standards are the same. So the phase out process is the one that took so long. But you will know, let's take part of the blame, is because this Department also of Transport was on autopilot for some time. No DG for over a decade or so. Ministers were changing like every weekend. Because even the people who work here at Department of Transport, they know Mbalula next week he can leave. And that's why people are not working here, some of them. They don't implement, they don't meet targets, you go. We are dealing in this department with things that were supposed to be solved 10 years ago. Why? Because somebody with short trousers came and then changed things, and then another one with long trousers came, another one with hip hop, ball bottom came. It was just an exchange, you know. And then there came Mbalula with some African attire, the new broom, you know. He has now arrived. We'll see how far he will go. Department of Transport, the backbone of the economy. And when I say this, you think I'm singing for my supper. And then you change people like every weekend. You'll never run this department. Never. It's like police. As long as you've got a new cop every day at the helm, you'll never win against crime, because everybody who comes has got new ideas. You give people a chance, just like May 2 decades. Kids about passive. The only thing they cry foul about May is 30%. That's all. But kids are passing. Big margins. Because one department, one person. So, here at transport, ministers have been changing. This place has never had a DG and all of that. I'm going to employ a DG now. The one who was here, his contract came to an end. It was not renewed, so we went to the market. So we're almost done with the DG. We're going to have a new DG. My dear is just acting. If he impresses and he wants the job, he can get it. But I see him these days, he changes suits like nobody's business. The man is ready for the job, you can see. But he's acting. He's one of our DDGs at transport. His specialty is maritime. My dear. And then I'm employing extra 2 DDGs, and then I'm done with DDGs. But I'm saying to you, part of the problem in governance, instability, is that there is lack of follow-up. And that is why we are here. You can ask me also that question. Why was the issue of the driver's license and the new machine and the new process not done on time? And when they want to self-praise themselves, they say, no, 2019 we were told that the machine, 2019 we started the process of acquiring a new card. And to do that process in government, you don't just sit in a corner and say, how does it look like, Mchan? You get some graphic designer with small trousers. They say, no, I've got it. Look at it. And then that is it. It undergoes security. International stuff, it's a process that it undergoes, and then it comes back. Now it is ready, I must take it to cabinet. And then cabinet will look at it and probably reject it. I must start afresh. Because I can't sell you a phone call. Because people steal our IDs, reproduce them, go to UK, and then we get bad publicity. South African passport, South African ID is not something of pride. I want you, when you carry our license, anybody must be of trust to it. Banks and everybody, they must know just like with your new ID, the one you've got now, the new one, not the old one, the green bar. That one is proper. And I'm working in all systems to ensure that also we try to localize. We're producing a card from people from Germany, France. Those are the people who produce our stuff. We don't have that capacity in South Africa of people who can produce. But the experts have got reasons why we must go international. Even our money, we don't know who produces it, but they say when they tell us it is people who are dead, who are making money. So I still belong into that school of thought, that nobody dies, they all are working somewhere, they are producing money. So whenever I pass next to Mint on the N1 to Pretoria, I look at that place and ask Tito, do you have dead people there producing money and all of that? And Lechisa Kanyaho. That is the stories we were told before. But it's a security issue. It's a matter of the country. It's not just an issue that you wake up and do. And I've got no defense I can give to South Africans about why it take us so long. I've got no defense. I can tell you that ministers before me wanted to finish this, they did not finish it. And then that is it. But we are on par. That is why some of the things we are doing in this department are not new. We are doing things that were supposed to be finalized long time ago. Leighton Zimande did a splendid job. Don't get me wrong. He did a splendid job. Number one job. And I'm consolidating the work that he's doing. Part of that work, I'm at courts with it now. Arto is one of them. Okay? Outa is taking me to court back and forth. And I'm challenging them on ARTO. I'm taking them on. I'm appealing that case. Okay? Because I think ARTO is an important intervention in our regime in reducing the carnage on the road. I'm challenging them in relation to that. Maswanganyi did a splendid job to ease the fight between the Uber and all of that and regulate e-hailing services in the country. That was the biggest challenge he got. I was in the police, he used to call me like I'm getting out of fashion to come and resolve the fight between the Uber drivers and all of that, fighting and burning taxis and all of that. Maswanganyi started that process. Platin Zamande finished it. It is now back to the president and back to parliament to basically finalize. The poor Peters did also a brilliant job in this department. Spoon Debele, Jeff Radebe. I'm tracing things as far as Jeff Radebe, but I'm dealing with issues as far as Meg Maharaj, 1998. Now there was Meg Maharaj, there was Jeff Radebe, there was Dala Omar, there was Spoon Debele, there was the poor Peters, there was Maswanganyi, there is Platin Zimane, there is Mbalula. So that is why my name is Fix It. Mine is to finish the job. I'm supposed to give you a new license. I'm supposed to fix anything that is supposed to be fixed. Finish the job. With the taxi industry, you get there, you find that a lot of work has been done but was not finished. So we've got to finish the job. So we're here today. Your driver's license, you'll get it. It's coming. But go and apply. I'm going to increase the centers. I'm going to engage with the provinces to finalize the work. You can see these are good South Africans who are coming to renew. They can give you a feedback. It's quick. Name my brother. You can think they are coming to sing, but they are coming to renew their license. Very energetic. So this is happening right here. So come here, it's easy, get the job done. Come and renew your license, don't wait for much. I'm solving all the other things. By end of this year, to get a driver's license in the Republic is gonna be easy go for all of you. And that's what is going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Fixit. I think without any additional questions, we'll then close. Yeah, if there are no any other questions, we'll close the session. Thank you very much for following our story. And like we said, let's renew and comply. Good day, everyone.
Mr. Caravana.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.